For example, if you find yourself irritated by someone who seems overly confident, consider whether this irritation stems from a part of yourself that feels insecure. Or perhaps their confidence reminds you of a trait you've suppressed, your own desire to step into the spotlight. This process of self-inquiry can feel uncomfortable. At first, it's tempting to retreat into blame or defensiveness. But remember, the goal isn't to criticize yourself, it's to understand yourself. Each trigger is a doorway to deeper self-awareness. Once you've identified aspects of your shadow, the next step is dialogue. Jung often encouraged his patients to engage with their shadow as if it were a separate entity. This might sound unusual, but it's a way of externalizing and understanding these hidden parts. Imagine sitting across from your shadow and asking it questions. Why do you feel this way? What are you trying to protect me from? What do you need from me to feel acknowledged? This dialogue can be done through journaling, meditation, or visualization. The goal is to create a space where your shadow feels seen and heard. Remember, your shadow isn't your enemy. It's a part of you that has been trying, in its own flawed way, to protect or guide you. For many, this process leads to surprising revelations. You may discover that a fear you've carried for years stems from a childhood experience, or that a trait you've suppressed is actually a strength waiting to be unleashed. Now, let's explore how this integration impacts your relationships. The shadow doesn't just influence your inner world, it shapes how you interact with others. Often, unresolved aspects of your shadow manifest as conflict or tension in relationships. Have you ever been in a situation where you repeatedly clash with someone over the same issue? Or perhaps you've noticed patterns in your relationships, like attracting the same type of partner or facing similar challenges. Jung believed that relationships act as mirrors, reflecting our unconscious back to us. When you feel triggered by someone, it's often because they embody a trait or behavior that resonates with your own shadow. By becoming aware of this dynamic, you can transform conflict into growth. Instead of blaming or resenting the other person, ask yourself, what is this situation teaching me about myself? This shift in perspective not only deepens your self-awareness, but also fosters compassion and understanding. Let's take this idea further. How can embracing your shadow enhance your creativity and purpose? Jung argued that the shadow isn't just a container for negative traits, it is also the source of untapped potential. The energy you use to suppress your shadow can be redirected into creative pursuits. For example, suppressed anger might become a driving force for advocacy or social change. A hidden desire for attention could fuel artistic expression or public speaking. When you integrate your shadow, you reclaim the energy that was once spent hiding it, allowing you to channel it into pursuits that align with your authentic self. Think of some of the greatest artists, writers, and leaders in history. Their work often reflects a deep engagement with their own shadows. Frida Kahlo's paintings, for instance, are filled with raw emotion and unflinching honesty about pain and identity. Martin Luther King Jr. channeled his anger at injustice into a movement that transformed the world. Jung himself saw creativity as a pathway to individuation. He believed that by engaging in creative activities, whether through art, writing, or even problem solving, we access parts of our unconscious, including the shadow. Now consider your own life. Are there passions or projects you've set aside because they felt too risky or vulnerable? What if these were the very expressions of your true self waiting to emerge? As you begin to integrate your shadow, you'll notice a shift. The traits and feelings that once seemed overwhelming or shameful become sources of strength and wisdom. You'll find yourself living with greater authenticity, confidence, and purpose. In the next and final section, we'll reveal the ultimate truth about your shadow and how embracing it can lead to profound transformation, not just for yourself, but for the world around you. Stay with us as we uncover the final, most powerful insight that will tie everything together and illuminate the path to your highest potential. As we arrive at the culmination of this journey, let's take a moment to reflect on the significance of what we've uncovered. The shadow, that hidden and often feared part of ourselves, isn't a curse to bear. It's a gift waiting to be unwrapped. It holds the key to our authenticity, our creativity, and ultimately, our purpose. But what does it mean to truly embrace your shadow? And how can this act of integration transform not only your inner world, but also the way you engage with life as a whole? To answer these questions, we must first confront a truth that Jung himself emphasized. We cannot achieve wholeness by rejecting parts of ourselves. Wholeness comes from unity, from bringing all aspects of our being into harmony. Jung famously said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." This is the essence of shadow work, not denying the darkness, but understanding it, owning it, and using it to fuel your growth. So how do you make the darkness conscious? One profound way is through acts of vulnerability. When you openly acknowledge your fears, insecurities, and flaws, you take away their power to control you. Vulnerability isn't weakness, it's strength. It's the willingness to say, "This is who I am, and I am enough." Consider the relationships in your life. How often do we put on masks, showing only the parts of ourselves we think others will accept? This habit, while understandable, creates a barrier between us and true connection. By embracing your shadow, you give yourself permission to show up fully, allowing others to see and love you for who you really are. This kind of authenticity is magnetic. It draws people in, inspires trust, and fosters deeper, more meaningful relationships. And it's not just about personal connections, it's about the impact you can have on the world. When you integrate your shadow, you stop being at war with yourself. This inner peace radiates outward, influencing how you approach challenges, opportunities, and even your purpose. You become a person who operates from a place of wholeness rather than fragmentation. Let's look at purpose through this lens. Many people spend their lives searching for a sense of meaning, believing it's something external to be discovered. But Jung teaches us that purpose arises from within. It's the natural outcome of aligning with your true self, shadow included. Think about it. Your purpose isn't just what you do, it's who you are. It's the unique combination of your strengths, passions, and even struggles that shape how you contribute to the world. The shadow is an integral part of this equation. It's not a roadblock to your purpose, it's a guide. For example, someone who has struggled with feelings of unworthiness might find their purpose in helping others recognize their own value. Someone who has faced anger or frustration might channel that energy into creating systems of justice or advocacy. Your wounds can become your wisdom. Now let's address the most profound insight of all. Jung believed that integrating the shadow doesn't just transform the individual, it has the potential to transform humanity. Why? Because when you confront your own darkness, you become more compassionate, understanding, and empathetic. You recognize that the struggles you faced are not unique to you, but are part of the shared human experience. Imagine a world where more people embrace their shadows. Instead of projecting their fears and insecurities onto others, they would own them, heal them, and grow from them. Conflicts would diminish, understanding would deepen, and humanity would move closer to collective enlightenment. This is the true power of shadow work. It's not just about self-improvement, it's about contributing to a more conscious, connected, and compassionate world. As we conclude, I leave you with a challenge. Look within, not just at the parts of yourself you're proud of, but also at the parts you've hidden away. Ask yourself, what is my shadow trying to teach me? How can I use its lessons to live more authentically? What steps can I take today to begin this journey of integration? Remember, this isn't a destination. It's an ongoing journey of self-discovery. With each step you take toward understanding your shadow, you move closer to becoming your most authentic self, a person of depth, purpose, and wholeness. As we conclude, I invite you to share your thoughts and reflections. What has this exploration revealed to you? What truths have surfaced? Your insights could be the spark that encourages someone else to begin their own path of self-awareness and transformation. But know this is not the end. It's the beginning of a new chapter, one where you no longer hide from yourself, but embrace every part of who you are. The road ahead may not always be easy, but within your shadow lies the key to the life you were meant to live, courageous, free, and whole. Thank you for being part of this journey. May you walk forward with curiosity, strength, and the wisdom to embrace all that you are.